Welcome. Welcome. We're continuing learning Torah and Vav, Yom HaBikurim. We are this is the long Sif Gimel, I believe. Yeah. We're somewhere in the middle of Sif Gimel. We'll just repeat very succinctly. Nice word, huh? Yeah, you didn't think I had it, huh? I have all the words, I just don't know what to say. Yeah. So, the turn of Sas was saying that the Rebbe says that everyone from Israel has a B'chinas Malchus because Nishmas Israel are like an upside down tree where the root is above and the flow of Chayas goes, from the root to the trunk, to Neshamas that are B'chinas trunk. And then it goes to Neshamas that are B'chinas branches, and so forth and so on. They go twigs, and at the end, the lowest Neshamas are B'china of leaves, as it were, okay? Now, the thing is that the Chayas, the life force from the Kodesh Baruch Hu, flows through that path, from the root through the trunk, through the limbs of the tree, through the branches, through the twigs. In other words, there are neshamas. There's a neshama that is the root of all neshamas. All the neshamas come originally from the bina, and the neshamas, bigger neshamas are more like the trunk or the the limbs of the tree, and so forth and so on. Now, that means that why would I have malchus over these neshamas? Ever said that the malchus that the person has is both in a covert manner. You come to say, "Hey, yo, yes, sir." So we wish, right? Anyhow, so and also covertly. You may not even know who these people are. When it says that sometimes even those that are by you, could be your household, could be people further away, you sometimes don't know what to tell them. You know what they need. And they're not always by you, And the relationship is, Rabbeinu says that this kind of authority is, first of all, a person has to be very careful not to use this authority, this malchus, like a tool, like a slave, to fulfill his heart's desire. Hey, bring me that, do this. You can ask, children, whatever it is, could you please bring me that? Can you do, this for me? But to command them to do something, you don't do for for yourself. Do for whatever it is the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants them to do. Everything else you ask them is a favor. They have a mitzvah, and whatever the case may be. Don't use the power that you have over them to lord over them, because then the malchus is like a slave under your hand. You're using it. It's your tool, and this tool is a poison fruit. It may be fun, to be on top and to boss everybody around, as it were. But that tool means responsibility. You're supposed to, guide these people. You bring them close to Kodesh Baruch Hu. You have to admonish them. You have to tell them, yo, what's the deal with that? This is messed up. You can't do that. So Rabbeinu says that the way to get over, and if a person doesn't do that, if a person slouches or sloughs off on the duty that he has, to make, to be machich the people that are under his neshama, to walk the straight and narrow, that bechina of authority can shorten his life, his own life. Remember, it says this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Yechezkel HaNavi. Tzayfen esaticha lebeis Yisrael, I've made you a scout, an observer to Beis Yisrael. Your job is to admonish them. So if you admonish the Rasha, and he doesn't want to listen to you, he will suffer the consequences because of his deed. But you have saved yourself. But if you neglect, so what do I need this loch and cup? I have to start, getting into arguments or whatever. Like, I don't want. Well, okay, I'm not using the malchus as a slave to fulfill my tavis, but I don't want to get into, into arguments and back and forth, whatever it is. Who needs this? Well, so it says the Rasha will suffer the consequences of his rishus because he did what he did. But being that you did not admonish and you did not call him out, so he says, I will demand his blood from you. So that's why this Chazal says that Rabbanut mekaveret et be'alea, the Rabbanus, the position of power buries those who hold it. In fact, the Gemara says you don't find any Navi that didn't bury at least a few kings during his lifetime. If it was from Shmuel and Navi, you have Shaul and David, and obviously didn't bury David, but you see that prophets, especially when they were kings in Am Yisrael, they did not do what they were supposed to do. As one prophet would prophesy over an era of 4 kings during his lifetime. 4 kings. He would prophesy during an era, a time span, that there were 4 kings that 4 kings that lived and died and lived and died and lived and died. Because the Bechina of Malchus killed them. They had the Malchus, they were kings, but they did not use it for what it was meant for. And because of that, they, it revenged them and caused them to. So the Rebbe said that how do you do that? How are you admonishing the people? Because the first thing you need to do is you need to inject life into your malchus, that the malchus shouldn't hurt you. And this is the way to do it, and the way to do it is by admonishing these people. You do your job, okay. You inject chayas into your malchus. Malchus doesn't harm you. But how do you do it? This is how do you accomplish it? You say through das, and the das, how to say and what to do, is achieved through life itself, which means you get it from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who is the source of all life. Now, the tool with which you draw life from HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the Torah. The tool with which you draw, like you draw water out of a well, from a Kodesh Baruch Hu, from Chaya Chaim. The way you bring it down, you bring it to you, is through learning Torah.
Learning Torah.
Yeah. Now, the life force that comes from Kodesh Baruch Hu is without boundaries, because Kodesh Baruch Hu is infinite. But you can't get life force in an infinite measure, and because it's a tsunami. So what you need to do, you need to have kelim shainim, different kind of vessels, smaller ones, bigger ones, whatever it is, according to the job at hand. And the way to do it, in other words, you have to do it with kelim that are constricted, that have a specific measurement. It shouldn't be too much. I mean, you can feed a baby, even you feed it milk, you can feed a baby by using a pail of milk.
Right.
You can't do that. You have to have a specific keli that just has, a nipple with a little hole in it, because that's the kelim of the babies, very small.
Capacity, right?
Yeah, the capacity, it's correct. So the same applies to the Chazon Kodesh Baruch Hu. And Rabbeinu explained that the entire Torah, every single letter of the Torah, every single word of the Torah, the whole Torah is the names of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Rabbeinu explains that the name of everything is the keli of that thing. Somebody's name is Moshe. He can be asleep. You're trying to shake him awake, and he doesn't wake up. You call Moshe. Yeah, because the name is the keli. Nefesh Chaya Hu Shmoi. That's the name of everything. That's the keli of whatever it is you're talking about. Rabbeinu says the same way that when you need to call somebody, you have to call him by his name. When you want to call a Kodesh Baruch Hu, you want to call life from Hashem Baruch, you have to do it by his name. You have to call him by his name, which is the Torah. And commensurately, not from me, thank you. Commensurately with the meter that the people can, the amount that the people can absorb. After a person can absorb, and this is how there are letters and words and psukim and parshas and chomoshim and sforim and so forth and so on. Each one is a given measure. In fact, the entire Torah, before it is put into measurements, into kelim, is infinite. That's why it is said, Ma ha'edus v'chukim v'mishpatim. During the Seder night, we meet it many times. Ma avoida azos lachem. Ma, it's everything is based on ma. When you say the word ma, the way that we know it, ma means the question. What? Yeah, like really, what? No, really, what? But that question means that I already know that there is something, but I don't know what it is. This is ma. This is what the chokhmah. Chokhmah is what the ma, where the matter, where the isness, where the reality is still in a level of koyach, of potential. It's still not it's still not confined in the keli. The koachma. That's where the bina comes. The bina is the thing that has the dinim, the constrictions, the vessels, the measurements. So he says, Ma, the Torah, ha'edus, v'achokim, v'mishpotim, all those are pchinas ma. And then we have another pasuk, Al Pipshat, David HaMelech is wondering, ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how long shall I live? Let me know how long I'm going to live so that I will prepare myself. Because Baruch Hu tells him he can't. No person can know in advance when his time is up. He says, Hodi'eni, David HaMelech says, Hodi'eni, let me know, Midas Yomai, the measurement, the how much there is. Midas Yomai Mahi. Let me know what's the measurement of my days. But Rabbeinu says it in a different way. He says, Midas Yomai, the days of the same way that the days of my life. My life is divided into portions. There's a minute, there's an hour, there's a day, there's a week, there's a month, there are years. All those are measurements, that we can deal with of life. Same thing, the Torah is oisius, it's words, it's psukim, it's parshas, it's chomoshim. The same way, commensurately. And the midah, the days are a measurement, and that the days are the measurement with which we learn Torah, with which we draw life from Chai Chaim. That's why we say, Midas Yomai, what is the thing that I use in order to fill my days, to bring life to myself? Mahi. It's Torah. Through the Torah, you draw life from Chai Chaim. And while we were there, Rabbeinu says, when you take a look at the mitzvah of the Melech, the view of the Melech has a mitzvah to learn Torah more than anybody else. The Melech is supposed to have a Sefer Torah, and he's supposed to learn it all the days of his life. It would be with him. The Koraboy, he would read in it, all the days of his life. Rabbeinu says that you can understand this in two ways. First, that you have to learn, the Melech has a mitzvah to learn Torah every day. And second thing, that through being the man Yarech Yom HaMelech, so you will be the king for many years. So a Melech is supposed to call the life, the Karaboy, call the life from Chai Chaim, from Kadosh Baruch Hu, in order to inject his Malchus. Yeah, right. To inject his Malchus with longevity. So when we take a look at this, and we're saying to ourselves, okay, so what am I supposed to do here? Supposed to learn Torah, supposed to learn Torah about, with the mouth, enunciate the words. Okay. But supposedly you don't need to learn Likutey Moharan to know that, right? What is Rabbeinu telling us here beyond that? And when Rabbeinu says that I have a mitzvah to show the way to people that are under my malchus, then he says, but you don't always know what to tell them, and they're not always there. So what am I supposed to do? What are you actually telling me? In other words, what is the actionable directive over here? What am I supposed to do? Or it's learning a term. But I saw from Rav Kivak, this is David Kivak, a wonderful daher about this Indian. Other people are not the only parties upon whom you have malchus. Some has, his family, some is this, some is that. But who is the prime subject of your malchus? What do you say? Exactly right. You. The first prime subject of your malchus is you. The malchus that I have over me is my will. What do I want? I want to eat fancy food. I want to sleep late. I want to go through davening quickly. I want to whatever it is that I want to do. Now I have a bechira. I have choice. So when I am actually exercising the bchinas malchus, when I'm admonishing myself on how I behave, on how I should behave, when I do that, I automatically transmit to all the neshamas that are under me, that receive the highest through me, this union of choosing life over death. Automatically. I mean, they get their life force through me. If I don't exercise restraint and self-control and bechira b'toiv, how are they supposed to get it? They're under me. They get it from me. Iloledi mistafina, I would say that when you learn Torah, you get das, and the das is first foremost is for you to know how to behave. You learn halacha, right? You learn halacha, whatever it is, you get your own das. The first person that das is supposed to influence is me. Now, when that happens, the life force that goes through my neshama is already pre-formatted, like in computers, It's pre-formatted when it goes to the neshamas that are under my command, as it were. They're already getting the life force that has in it, the programming of constraint and self-control. If I don't control myself, if I don't constrain myself, how on earth am I supposed to expect anybody to, don't do as I do as I say? Remember that? It doesn't work, right?
Especially in front of your children, right?
Yes. Children know everything. They know absolutely everything. You can't, absolutely everything.
Children know everything?
No.
Children don't listen to parents. What kind of numbers will you have on them?
No. That.
Right?
It's a very good question. The answer is many people think, that children don't listen. Truth be told, they do. It may not be, one-to-one. Because many people think that children do not listen. But it's not necessarily true. You will see that children, they're going through adolescence and they do the opposite of what you want.
Even before that, adolescence.
Okay, it doesn't matter. The point is that that time when they do the opposite of what it is that I want is actually the period in which they assert their own personality as individuals, as independent individuals. Before that time,
what if there's like a counterforce against?
Okay, but that's something else. That's something about. Nevertheless, that's why I said that ultimately children know everything. You don't know those answers. They sense things. You'll see later on when they'll be in their 20s that there's a part in them that knew very well, even though they couldn't put words to it, knew very well what was going on and who's right and who's wrong. You can't tell right then and there. It's like they say, when you're 17, you're absolutely convinced that your parents are super stupid.
My son already told me I'm wrong. I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, absolutely. When they're 17, 20, whatever it is, they're absolutely convinced that they cannot believe how stupid you are. 10 years later, they're astonished on how much you have learned in 10 years. It's like, yeah. The thing is that children, when they're children, when they go against their parents, it's usually because this is a mitzvah teichecha. A mitzvah teichecha. The children, that their parents are really showing themselves off in the community as being goody two shoes, but really behind the scenes are nothing like that. So the kids going to the park to smoke cigarettes on Shabbos. Why they're doing that? The child is actually telling me, why don't you look at me? Why are you busy wearing this beautiful mask for the community? Everyone says, wow, this guy, whoa, he's so early, forget about it. He's a mamish tzaddik. The kid says, oh yeah? I'm going to show them who you are. They're going to see me in the park on Shabbos. What is it for? Look at me. The child is telling you, look at me. Stop worrying about your image. Stop worrying about what people will think of you. Making this, the harchiducha, whatever, kokamemi terutzim you're coming up with. Just look at me. Pay attention to me. You don't pay attention to me. You don't really care about me. You're just faking, this self-image for all the world to see. Okay, I'll show the entire world what you really are. That's what the child is telling him. But children see things in black and white. They don't see the grays. They don't have to. So that's why they don't bother the children. Everybody takes care of, But then they grow up. And when they grow up, suddenly life becomes complicated for them too. And you would be amazed how much your children will actually adhere and identify themselves with the things that you really meant. You really meant it all along. They'll get it. We all have certain things that we really hold on. We have certain things that we mouth, we parrot. We say the right things. We talk and talk. Okay? So our children rebel. You're just talking fancy. You talk the talk, but you don't walk the walk. But that's not the entire truth. The entire truth is there are certain things that I talk the talk and walk the walk. Around it, there's some more talking that I do without walking. Okay. That part of me that I walk the walk also, eventually you'll see that the children are also holding like that. That is what they see. They don't know that they see it, but they see it. It'll come later on in life. But the things that are real for them as well. You'd be amazed how much your children end up looking like you. I mean, in behavior, in fees or whatever it is. You say, no chance. Yeah. They'll end up, the things that are, the things that by you is solid, the emunah by you is solid, you'll see later on that by them it's also solid. Even if they take a detour to come around to it, however long it takes, they come around back to it. Meaning avoisim biyodam. So that's why they said you have to say the Torah and love. Then we say that through the Esek Torah you're drawing Richas Yomim. That's the Chayus. And then you have a Das. With this Das, you're capable of admonishing all those that you have to admonish. The first one being you. When you are admonishing yourself. Now again, here too, talk is cheap. It's very easy for me to tell myself, come on, dude. Okay, so you know what you need to do, and you know you don't do it. You're just a faker, whatever it is. And we all feel like that. But this kind of do if I don't, then if I do, then if I don't, kind of like, what am I doing with the things that I need to do and I don't take control of it? What do I do with that is a normal situation, a normal state of life. Everybody struggles with that. And the very same way that you cannot be too strict with your children and tell them that they're bad children if they don't do what they need to do, the same thing applies to yourself as well. You're also under your own malchus. Yeah, there are certain things that you talk the talk and you don't walk the walk. In fact, there's no way to walk the walk without first talking the talk, without walking the walk. Eventually, you get to actually walking the walk. It says, La'olam yilmad adam Torah shelo lishma, shebetoch shelo lishma yavo lishma. Someone says, La'olam yilmad adam, forever, always, a person will learn shelo lishma, because why this is forever? What happens if I can start learning Torah lishma from the get-go? Why should I start with learning Torah shelo lishma? No, the Gemara is telling you, there's no way to do this. There's no way to do this. You cannot come to learn Torah lishma without first going through the shelo lishma. There are certain things you can't do. There are certain things about yourself that you have to accept. The one thing that the Yetzer Hara cannot deceive you is beginning all over again. Beginning now. Yetzer Hara can fool you. I have koyach. I don't have koyach. I really should be putting everything into be my nefesh. Oh, I should really let go. Yisraelus, Yischaskas. Yetzer Hara can cheat you hundreds way to Sunday. But there's one thing the Yetzer Hara can never, ever deceive you with. That's the fact that you can always start anew right now. You always want to do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants for you to do. So why don't you do? I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know. I can't. I cannot. I don't want to. I don't know. But I want to do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from me now. That's the biggest secret Rabbeinu told us. That iron determination and resoluteness to start again. Well, Chesed Zatzal used to say that all the time. Yetzirah cannot cheat you with that. You know, the Gemara in Brachas, there's a interesting paragraph in which Rabbi Nachman ben Chisda say, "Vayitzer Elokim es ha'odam." Baruch Hu created the Odam. The Yetzer is written with two yuds. So Nachman bar Chisda says, what did it come to denote? That the Odam has a Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara. And Nachman bar Yitzchak says, Behemoth just says, Yud, doesn't have just one Yetzer. But Rabbi Yetzer said, no, that's not true. You see that Behemoth has Yetzer Hara. It bites, it kicks, we all know, the animals, a bad dog, whatever it is, and it's on. The Rashash is going to talk, what's the Yetzer Tov of Behemoth? I mean, it does what you tell it to do. It does the work, what is it, So how can you say that only a person has Yetzer Tov? Behemoth also has it. Only what? It is, as Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi said, what is the two yuds of Yetzer Adam? It comes to denote oily miyotzri. I'm really in trouble with my maker. Oily miyotzri. I'm really in trouble from a Yetzer Hara. I'm in trouble with Kadosh Baruch Hu if I do what my Yetzer tells me. I'm in trouble with my Yetzer if I do what Kadosh Baruch Hu tells me. So it seems, when you just read the Gemara, that supposedly Rabbi Nachman says it's one thing, and it says no, it's not. Yeah, right. Behemoth has its own. Only what? It's something else. Olim Yitzri, Olim Yitzri. But it's possible to say that no, the Olim Yitzri is the difference. It's actually the teretz on the kasha of Nachman bar Yitzchak. It is true that the Behemoth also has Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara. However, the Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara of Behemoth doesn't have the consequences of Olim Yitzri and Yitzri.
Doesn't have
the consequences of Olim Yitzri, Olim Yitzri. Behemoth is not going to give Divrei Cheshbon. There's no Divrei Cheshbon by Behemoth. Behemoth is, it's a teva. It's a nasty animal. It's a kind animal. There's no Divrei Cheshbon to say Loim Haba. A person, and Behemoth has Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara, but it's instinctual. It's natural. A person is a bechira. The person has this constant struggle, this constant, give and take, or woe to me with this, woe to me with that. I can't do this, but I really want to do that kind of thing. And if you see to someone says, you can think, I must be the only person in the world to do this, to go through this hemming and hawing and like, is it this or is it that? But everybody else is just, they got it down pat. By them, no problem. Even by the tzaddikim, it's like that. You should know that it's normal to be puzzled, to be confounded, to be discombobulated about what on earth am I doing. Like, I can't believe, look. What's the deal with that? What's the deal with me?
To be lost, confused, uncertain.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But there's one thing upon which it is incumbent upon me, to never let go. And that's to want to be good, to want to start all over again. So you start something and it doesn't work. You start another thing that works for a day or two. Then you find yourself taking 5 days off just to overcome it. Can't believe I did that. Whew. Yeah. It's okay. The Zohar Kodesh says less Rav Atara Deisavud. There's no single goodwill that ever gets lost. You want good, you will benefit from that good. This is especially important as we're coming up on Pesach. When Am Yisrael came out of Mitzrayim, they were in a situation where before the Kodesh Baruch Hu split Yam Suf, the Malachim were Mekatrig. These are Oivdei Avodah Zarah, the Mitzrim, and these are Oivdei Avodah Zarah about Am Yisrael. Why are you saving these before these? Where's the justice? The answer is that in the Shoresh, in the root, as HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, "Be'atik otalim yotze." You can tell by looking at them, you can't tell the difference. They're behaving like the Goyim behave. They think they have to win. They have to have the winning song in the Eurovision, and their soccer team has to, go to Europe or to the whatever to World Cup or whatever it is, or otherwise they're worthless. And they
medals.
Well, yeah, they have to pick gold medals or whatever it is in the Olympic Games. And they have to be artists and theaters and music and paintings and whatever it is. But they're Jews.
See now with the war, opinion turning against Israel, like all the artists are being banned, all the globally.
Absolutely.
Playwrights and all the scientists, even scientists, and
And you know why? Because the Goyim know. The Goyim know.
No one.
Oh yeah. What's the reason for anti-Semitism? You want to know? You ask a Goy. You ask a Goy. A Goy will tell you. I told you this story with a person that I used to work with. We're very close. It was a very special person. A Goy. His father was literally a rocket scientist. He worked in the Manhattan Project on the nuclear bomb that they dropped on Japan, Second World War. He was an Englishman, and we were talking like really. Yeah, well, his father wasn't Oppenheimer. His father was Stanton Jones, Stanton Jones, whatever. But anyhow, he was part of the team. And so we were talking about it, and we were very open with one another. And I told him, I have an idea. How about I stand on a soapbox in Hyde Park and I say, nations of the world, for millennia, for thousands of years, you killed us, you stabbed us, you burnt us, you drowned us, you poisoned us, you hanged us. Anything you can think of. You had your fun for thousands of years. How about enough? Okay? That's here, finished. How about that? And he said, I can't. So what do you mean you can't? He says, you don't understand. He says, it's like you go to school and there's a kid that is the richest, the most good looking, the most talented. I mean, vastly talented. I mean, like, it's not even a joke. He's quantumly better than you are in everything. Whenever it is that you look at him, all your accomplishments, everything that you're all about, turns to ashes in your mouth. He says, I have to kill him. So I said, but you have talent, you have money, you have beauty, everything that you mentioned, you have. He said, yeah, but you have God. You have Hashem. So I said, but you claim to have him too. I mean, you said it is by you that is going right, that your religion is the right one, and you try to influence us. He says, yeah. But by you, he says, it's for sure. By you, it's certain. By us, we claim. Maybe we're right, maybe we're not right. But we know that by you, it's certain.
Even a supersessionism is like, I have to supersede something else. I have to come up with a claim.
That's right.
I claim it's the new thing.
Right, right.
Deep down, I doubt it's the end.
Maybe, you know. They're all like that. And they know it. And the thing is, they hate it. And many of our brethren that are totally, misguided also hate it. What the heck did I do? I want to be like you. I want to be like Michael Jordan. What the heck? Nope. There was the Enlightenment movement, the Enlightenment movement. And the King of Germany, Friedrich the Great, was, an enlightened king, as it were. I mean, he was a king, still he didn't do what he wanted, forget about it. But nevertheless, he espoused ideas of equality, whatever, still it came to him, of course. And he was a friend of the French philosopher Voltaire. And he had an argument with the I don't know, how do you call the high priest of the Protestant movement? How do you call them? Yeah, in Germany, the chief. No, I don't think the Protestants don't have bishops, do they?
Lutheran? It's a Lutheran?
Yeah, in Germany. I mean, it's a.
Yeah, Lutheran.
It doesn't, whatever, the chief kahuna, okay, the big kahuna of the chief, whatever it is in the. So Friedrich the Great. What? What?
How's the Prost? That's the Lutheran.
I don't know what they are. Anyhow, so Friedrich the Great asked the high priest he says, do you have a proof to the existence of Hashem? So the priest thought and thought. The Jews.
And God exists.
Yeah. There's no other way to explain it. A nation that exists now, it's almost like 400 years, give or take. Everybody persecutes this nation.
And most of the nations that persecuted us have disappeared.
That's right. Yeah. And we're still here. And we persecute ourselves. And we keep on, shedding our skin and, being decimated and renewing all the time. 20% came out of Mitzrayim, right? 80% died in the Makas Choshen. It happens in every generation. We're losing limbs. We're losing neshamas that are falling off and renewing ourselves all the time. And now we're here. Have you ever heard of a nation that was exiled and 2,000 years later came back? It's never happened in the history of the world, anything like that. The Chinese never moved, right? Always there. Japanese never moved, they're always there. By nations that will never happen. That's because in the shirish, have you ever heard anybody is complaining that Russia is killing Ukrainians or that the Africans are killing, the Arabs are killing Arabs? Nobody, at pips, nothing. The big criminals, the Jews killing the Chayaros. You know why? Because they know. Because they know. And you can see the way that these poor dumb Israelis are, keep on driving the ante up with the hostages by all these Afghanot, all these demonstrations. Shut up. Whatever you say, it's precious. The seller rise up the price, right? Be quiet. But they can't because they're Jews. For one soldier, they released 1,000, 1,200 for one soldier, including what's his name, this behemoth, Hania. Yichas and Sinwar is one of those that were released. But it's a Jew. In the Shorish Batiko, in the Keser Elyon, over there, this is where the difference is. It doesn't look different. It walks like a duck. It sounds like a duck, but it's not a duck. It's a Jew. That's what it says. We say in Pesach, Kodesh Baruch Hu lakachas lo am mitoch am, to take a nation from within a nation. It doesn't mean that we were physically placed within the Egyptians. We were assimilated within the Egyptians. Para says, Tivlaim nafshi, my nefesh will swallow them. I will digest them. They'll become part of who I am. From its very gut, Kodesh Baruch Hu takes his nation out. I'm goy mikerev goy. A goy from within a goy. He swallowed us already. From his gut, Kodesh Baruch Hu. So Kodesh Baruch Hu can retrieve his nation from the guts of the Sitra Achra. You think he cannot retrieve me from my own gut, from my own hanky-panky? This kind of fight is constant. You find yourself, what's going on here? It's okay. You see that the Ben HaChacham and the Ben HaRasha, there's very little difference between the languages. Ma avoida zos lachem, and the Ben HaChacham says ma avoida. Well, there's a difference in one word. There's aha. What's aha? Aha. Lachem. To you, lachem v'lo loy. They're both saying, what's the avoida? I don't know. I'm confused. What is this? It doesn't make any sense. No, lachem. When you say lachem, doesn't apply to me. That is where the problem. This is where the rishus comes in. But never, even with the Rasha, Ben Rasha, right? It says, what is the Rasha doing there? They're supposed to excommunicate him, no? What's the Rasha doing there? No. The Rasha is also part of the package. goes Eid. But what? You have to break his teeth. Okay. First of all, you have to break his teeth, but nevertheless, he's part of who you are. That's right. My son, the doctor.
Experience I have had in working with Jews or going to school, working with Goyim or going to school with Goyim. One boy said to me, "Oh, you're Jewish?" I said, "Yeah, I'm Jewish." And I said, "One thing you people do, you help each other. And when we're in trouble, nobody's there for us." That like sort of,
Yeah.
you know, say, interpreted who a Jew is, like
Absolutely.
right on the spot, very plainly, very,
100%.
yeah.
100%. I'm telling you.
Simple, very simple.
They know. They know. They know.
Yeah.
They know.
And,
Huh?
and a Muslim experience I had with Muslims and we're working for them and everything. They have I worked for an Iranian fellow in the family, and I came in. I happened to be an Iranian birthday, but Iranian holiday, whatever New Year's, something like that. So I walk in to pick up my check, and they said, "Oh, come in. It's so pleasant to have a Jew at my table," just like that. And he had a son, Mohammed, and, and everything, Muslims, and they treated me like a king. What should I say? And he had a friend in New York who I spoke to, a Jewish friend who ran an Iranian paper, the only one in America that interprets, can run to edit an Iranian paper. And they had a lot of respect for us. And even this lady who spoke to me, a Muslim lady, just over the phone, she said to me, "You're Jewish," just over the phone. I never met her. So she said, I said, "How do you know?" She said, "I could tell. And if there were no Jews in the world," she said, "they would have to be reinvented."
Mhm.
That's what she said to me.
I mean, you have to have somebody to hate, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you have to have a scapegoat. You have to be somebody against. I mean, it's like I like to have the story about the Hungarian Jew that argued. The Hungarian Jews are known to be very combustible. They're called the Ashkenazi Moroccans. They're very short tempered. They're like they fight between them or whatever. So they said one of these guys that a Jew like gets, he argues, he fights with the people of his town, and he storms out of town. He just goes away. Just that's it. He doesn't want to talk to them and not to do with them, whatever it is, he goes away. So one time, a caravan of merchants, of Jewish merchants, when it got lost in the forest, and they came to this place in the forest, and suddenly they see this Jew that left town for such a long time, and he says, "Welcome, come, stay by me. The Shabbos is coming. Stay by me with it." And they see he built himself a whole, chalet. There's buildings, and there's a beautiful house, and there's a mikveh, there's a shul, everything. Go ahead. So as they walk after Shabbos, they're going to the shul. They see another building with lights in it, and they say he's the only one there. So he says, "What is that?" He says, "That's a shul." So they say, "Why don't we go there?" He says, "That shul, my foot would never step in it." That's the shul I don't go to.
A Jew was stranded in the island, and he built two shuls, and they asked him, "Why two shuls?" That one I had nothing to do with.
That's right. Well,
there were two elderly Jews left in Afghanistan, and they came and stirred up. There were two Jews, and that they couldn't get along. One wouldn't go to the shul with the other. So like the fight was till the very end. So one of them passed away. One got out.
well,
There were a few.
that he didn't know which show to go to. The one was okay, but that's Hashem. This shir is dedicated to the health of Kalin, and that need refuah, need health, need. Oh, somebody's trying to call me. Okay, I was wondering whose phone is ringing. Anyhow, so without the show, good Shabbos. We to see now it's already Nissan.
Yeah.
We can already expect the Geula, right? Okay, so. בניסן נגאלו, בניסן הסודים לגאול, בעזרת השם, כל מיני ממש בעזרת השם. כל טוב. Alrighty.